Hey everyone.
Hey everybody. Hope y'all are having a good day. Good night.
Yeah. I thought you were going to tell about okay. Everybody go like the I'm old. What?
Everybody go like the live stream and share it
Yeah, do that.
to your social medias. If I can talk.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that it?
Yes.
Like, share, leave us some comments.
Yeah. So the more you guys comment, what happens?
I have no idea.
Something about the
The
algorithm or
YouTube
whatever.
algorithm. I don't
Yeah, something. I don't
have
know.
to ask producer Bailey about all that.
Yeah. We don't know. And y'all, this piece of hair is driving me crazy. So if y'all see me messing with it, trying to make it lay down.
Y'all just stare at it.
No, don't do that. That would be terrible. Anyway. All right. So, tonight we are talking about intimacy, something that most people do not,
Thank you, Jacob.
thank you, Jacob, um, like to talk about because I feel like in the church it has been a taboo subject. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So, um, yes, thank you, Jacob. Hi, Terry. So, we're going to start out. I'm about to sneeze. Sorry, guys. We're going to start out and we're going to talk a little bit about that and then we'll go into some other things.
Yeah, so I just feel like there's this stigma attached to intimacy or sex or whatever you want to call it in the church, and it's such a taboo subject. No one really wants to talk about it. It's like something that we put a cover over and hide it in the corner and act like it doesn't exist. But the very first command that God gives man is to have sex. Be fruitful and multiply. Before he tells man and woman to do anything else, that's what he says. Be fruitful and multiply. And the enemy has done what the enemy always does with anything good that God gives his children. And he distorts it and he twists it and he makes it into something evil. He makes it into something that is bad. Anytime that sex is had outside of marriage, it separates us farther from Christ. Anytime that it is had inside of marriage, it brings a husband and wife closer together. The Bible says that the husband should leave his wife, or excuse me, leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and the two become one flesh. That's more than spiritual, it's physical. The two become one flesh. And we have to get out of this. Sorry, I'm being
Will it
told I'm
not
not.
pick up any?
Let me slouch down. We,
Somehow it'd pick up, but
we've been made to believe that it's a bad thing and we shouldn't talk about it, and it just leads to the world teaching our children about it instead of us teaching our children what God created it to be. They learn from the world what Satan has intended it to be, and we just want to get past that. I just really want to get past that. In our house, we've always been very open with our children. I'll let her speak a little more on that, but it it's never been something we say, "Oh, we can't talk about that." No, yeah, we absolutely can talk about that, because if I'm not teaching them, if she's not teaching them, then the world's teaching them, and that's true for anything, but especially this, because this is a big deal.
yeah, I agree. And he said, it's never been a taboo subject in my house. That's very true. It is not. And I mean, we talk to our kids very early about it. Like, I didn't want them wondering what it was and wanting to research what it was or asking a friend what it was and them finding out that way. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say we were talking the other day, and I said if you haven't told your children about sex by the time they're 10, somebody at school already has. Somebody at school is teaching them the wrong thing.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, our kids obviously know that we have sex. Like, it's not something that we hide in our house. Like, it's not some big secret. Um, if we decide we want to have sex, we're just like, go away. Like, we shut the door.
We're going to talk about taxes.
Yeah, sometimes we say that we're going to talk about taxes. And I mean, it's been an ongoing joke with Gavin since he was little. And he'll say, "What are y'all gonna do? Go talk about
Y'all
taxes?"
going to go talk about taxes?
And it's like it's not a big deal. Like it, it doesn't have to be this weird thing. Like you can talk about sex in front of either of my children, and neither of them will turn red
I will turn red before my children turn red.
because they were raised by me. That's true,
Because it wasn't talked about at my house.
right?
I said it wasn't because it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
talked about at
I
my
know.
house.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just an open conversation. And I feel like this day and age, kids find out things so early. So early. So I needed to get ahead of that before someone else told them something that wasn't true or whatever.
Right.
So, you know, I hope you guys, are ready for the conversation that we're going to have.
If she gets too out of hand, I will reel her back in.
I will sometimes get too out of hand, but hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah. Keep
Yeah.
it PG.
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
Go.
All right. So the first thing we were going to talk about was emotional intimacy. So there's several different kinds of intimacy. And emotional intimacy is the first one we're going to cover. I'm not going to cover all the different types of intimacy. We're just going to really talk about emotional and physical. But emotional, I grab my notebook. Emotional intimacy, the definition is sharing your feelings. It's literally what it says. So you have to have an emotional connection with your spouse. Let me back up. You have to have an emotional connection, yes, with your spouse for it to lead to physical intimacy sometimes. I don't necessarily think that that's always the case. Like, I'm not saying that you don't have to have an emotional connection, you do, but you don't always have, it doesn't have to always be an emotional thing every single time.
Right.
Being open with your spouse emotionally, though, and talking about things and them really knowing you, I think that creates the intimacy.
That's right.
So I'm gonna let you speak on that for just a second.
What?
Like emotional intimacy. You're more of an emotional human than I am.
Yeah, I mean, we have physical needs, obviously, but at the same time, it's more than that to me a lot of the time. It's more than just a physical need that has to be met for me a lot of the time. Like, I don't want to be physically intimate with her if she's not meeting my emotional needs. Like, that's the most woman thing I've ever said in my life.
Yeah.
But it is,
100%.
but it's the truth. Like, I'm being, that's just the 100% honest truth. If I feel like she's shutting me out in some way or whatever, why would I want to give her any piece of myself. Like, why? No, you're not giving me anything emotional that I need, so I'm not going to give you anything physical that you need. And that's just, it's not the way that we probably should handle things. But if I'm not giving her what she needs physically, and she's not giving me what I need emotionally, someone's going to have to give in. Somebody's going to have to be the first one to say, "Okay, I'm going to give in and I'll meet his emotional need, or I'll give in and I'll meet her physical need." But it can't always be
The same person.
the same person that's giving in. It's give and take. It's 50-50.
And he says he's an emotional person. I'm not.
No.
I have a physical need, and the emotional part of it I can work through. I don't I don't have to have that. I don't care if he's mad, sad. I don't care if I'm mad, sad. Like if I have a physical need, then that's just what it is to me. But and I joke all the time that a lot of times I'm more manly in that way. I think more like a man than he does
In that sense, she
in that
does. When
sense.
it comes to that activity, she definitely more thinks like a man
Yeah.
than I do.
Um and some of that's probably because I'm not an emotional person anyway. I'm just not. Like I'm not very emotional. He's a lot more emotional than I am. Um, I would say the past several years I've become more emotional than I've ever been. But I'm still very much I, I'm black and white. There's no
Mm-hmm.
um gray area. So, you know, I say all that to say if if your spouse is more like me, who there doesn't really have to be an emotional connection, it's not because they don't love you most of the time. I'm not going to say that's the case in every situation, but I am going to say if you're on here and you're listening about marriage, that's and they're listening and all the things, that's not the case. So it's not because they don't love you. Like it's not that I don't care about his emotional needs. It's not that I don't love him and all of the things, but I have something inside of my brain that I can literally turn all of that off. Um, and I don't think,
And for me, see, it could be emotions outside of her. Like it could be, I'm super stressed out. I'm not, you know, just emotions on the inside of me. Like if I'm not feeling it, I'm just not feeling it.
and to me, for a little while, we had a little bit of an issue because he was stressed. And so, I mean, we weren't having sex 2, 3 times a week. And that was a problem for me. And so I thought that it was me, that I was the problem. Like I thought he was not attracted to me anymore because I'm not emotionally bound to that for that activity to happen, obviously. And so with that said, he, I went to him and I was like, what's the deal? Are you not attracted to me? And he was like, what are you talking about? But that's how I felt because it's so physical for me and there's not emotions there. I couldn't understand why. Besides, he just wasn't attracted to me anymore.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. And now I know that. But I mean, we did have to have a conversation about it. And, you know, I think that being open with your spouse about that is so important because what I could have done was walked around being like, well, he just don't like me
You
anymore.
don't love me
He don't love
anymore.
me. He thinks I'm ugly. Like, I could have just beat myself down, but instead, I immediately took it to him and said, "Hey, look, this is how I'm feeling. What's the deal?"
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, that's not the case. I don't know why you're feeling that way. I'm sorry if I did something to make you feel that way, and all of the things." And he was so, like, it was comforting to me because, he heard me and he obviously apologized, even though it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was stressed and all of the things, but I just felt like, you know, I was getting the short end of the stick, is how I was feeling.
But it's like, she got a point right there. You got to be open. You have to be honest with each other. You have to be open with each other. You can't um, keep those feelings to yourself. If, you know, like she said, if she'd have walked around and held that in,
It would
it
have
would have
caused
been
resentment.
terrible. It would have been a big, big problem in this marriage. And on the other side of that, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to hear what your spouse is saying. You have
Yeah.
to listen to what they're saying. I mean, that's how you build that relationship with
Mhm.
each other, to be able to talk about literally anything together.
Yeah.
If it, it's something that you physically do the act together, yet you seem to not be able to talk about it, which is a little
Yeah. Yeah.
strange. It's like you almost act like y'all don't even do it, like it doesn't happen.
Right.
Like like it's a secret even amongst yourselves. Like, you got to be open and talk about it. And I don't want to get too far. I don't know what her notes say, so I'm not trying. I don't want to
He's
get too.
literally covering my notes and he doesn't even know what my notes
You
say.
you got to get on the same page. You
Yeah.
have to be on the same page, because if you're not on the same page, somebody's going to be disappointed. Somebody's
Mhm.
going to be upset, and usually it's going to be the same person over and over and
Yeah.
over and over again, because they won't voice their wants, their needs.
Yeah. And I'll say, you know, there's going to be, I say there's seasons in your marriage where it might be 3, 4, 5 times a week. There might be a season in your marriage where it's once a week. And that's okay, but y'all have to be on the same page about why it's once a week. Especially if it went from 3, 4, 5 times a week, 2 times a week, whatever, to 1 time a week. You have to have that conversation of why that's happening. Like, if not, then there's so many things that could happen. The enemy will drive a wedge there 100%. He will use that against the marriage.
Yeah, yeah. Just like he uses, I said it earlier. Just like he uses sex outside of marriage to drive a wedge between us and Christ, he uses lack of sex in a marriage to drive a wedge between you and your spouse. And if he can drive a wedge between you and your spouse, then that's just an open door for him to come in and have his way, and then go off and, you know, come back later when things are going better for you.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, he and I were talking before we went live, and I said, I don't like for people when they get married to let themselves just totally go. And I'm not talking about a little weight gain or whatever. I'm saying things you did when you first got married, you should still be doing when you've been married
20
almost 20
years.
years. You know, like he doesn't have to wonder if I'm going to shave my legs. Example. He don't have to wonder that. I shave them every day. No one wants to rub up on my hairy leg. And I mean, if that's something that, y'all don't mind, then that's y'all's business. But I can't stand myself to have hairy legs. Why would he want to feel that?
I don't.
But I've heard people say once they got married, they only shave their legs for special occasions. And that is wild to me, if I'm being honest.
I've heard it said that it's winter time,
Yes.
so I'm not shaving my legs. And I'm just like, what do you mean?
That's wild.
That's crazy.
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 Yeah. So
Like, I can't stand shaving my face. I cannot stand it. And she would probably like for me to do it more than I do, but I would literally have to shave my face every day, and my skin can't handle it.
it can't.
So I would shave like 2 or 3 times a week. I do.
2 times, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, twice. And if I hit it on the wrong days, I have to shave 3 times a week. So I have my days planned out of when I'm going to shave. It's right before we do this on Thursday, and then right before church on Sunday. And so from Sunday to Wednesday, I'm a woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
But take care of yourself. And if your spouse is doing something that you don't like or not doing something,
Tell them.
better let them know, because it's not going to change. They're not going to figure it out on their own.
Right.
If you don't like them old hairy legs on your wife, and tell her, hey, you're going to have to shave them things.
Yeah.
I'm not
Unpainted toenails.
I am not rubbing up on them hairy legs.
Or grown out fingernails.
Or grown out get them nails filled in. Ain't
So-
nobody trying to look at them old crusty fingernails.
Slade has I'm going to blame this on his mother, and she's listening. So, he has this thing about you cannot have acrylic nails and have them grown out. I'm going to say his mother, she used to wear acrylic nails all the time, and I never saw hers grown out. So I'm going to say she created that monster, if we're being honest.
I don't have any idea what color your fingernails are, but I will know if they are grown out.
And he
And I'll be
cannot
like,
stand it.
They need to make an appointment to get them filled in.
So people laugh at how often I get my nails done. People laugh at how often I get my nails done, but I do. I'll be honest, that's one of the things I get done so often, not just for me, but for him. Because he will look at me and be like, girl, it's about time for a fill-in, isn't it?
I will. Yes, Kristen. No crusty crust. Nobody wants to see that.
And so yeah. He, I know there are things that he doesn't like, and I make sure that I don't do those things or keep those things up, or however you want to put it. And it's the same with him.
Yeah, don't tell your spouse just to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're going to have to deal with it. Like,
not if you can do something about it.
You can change it. You can do something about it. You can fix it. Why would you not do what your spouse is asking when it is an attainable thing?
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know how we got on
Well, I was just
crusty
saying,
fingernails, but
well, we were talking about being attracted to someone. There are things that you find unattractive, and they're, So, I have on here how to build intimacy, and I have be open, be vulnerable, active listening, and gratitude. And he covered most of those a second ago, and he didn't even know that that was my list. But gratitude, be thankful for what they do for you. That builds a relationship with them. And sexual intimacy, you have to have open and honest communication. This is where I think people miss the mark sometimes, because they don't want to tell their spouse if they don't like something.
Mm-hmm.
Why? If I didn't like the way he loaded the dishwasher, I'd tell him that.
You would?
If I didn't like the way he leaves his clothes in the floor, I'd tell him that. I do.
She does?
I tell him nicely, obviously. I think you can say most anything to someone with the right motive behind it and the way you say it. Um and he and I, when we were talking about this, I said I don't guess I really ever had to tell him anything. But I mean, really you can tell them things you do like, and they'll, if those are things you like, those are probably the things they'll do the most. And then you don't even have to be
No kind of way.
mean or whatever, which I don't think is being mean. Like,
No, it's not being mean. We're not doing this to not have an enjoyable time. That one was tough. It's supposed to be a pleasurable experience, and if it's not pleasurable, then why are we doing it? And so, if I don't like something, or she doesn't like something, or I do like something, or she does like something, I have to tell her.
yeah,
Again, it's like what we were just talking about. She's not going to figure it out on her own.
no,
Like you have to be open. Don't be afraid that you're going to hurt their feelings.
yeah,
If they so okay, I'm not going to hurt her feelings, or she's not going to hurt my feelings. Let me put it this way. She's not going to hurt my feelings because I want it to be as pleasurable as it can for her. And if there's something else that I can do, then please tell me what else it is.
Kyle.
Kyle. Dude, Kyle, I can feel people cringing from
Where I'm
109.
sitting,
From
absolutely.
this seat right here, I can feel people cringing, not looking at their spouse, wanting to crawl up under the table, crawl up under the couch. I can feel it right now.
Yeah, we usually have more going on in the chat,
There ain't
and it has been
nobody
crickets.
saying anything in the chat. And I think it's because you're uncomfortable to say anything in front of your spouse about it. And it's almost comical that y'all do this together. You do it together, yet you don't want to talk about it. Why?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, communication is key.
Yes. You got to talk about it. If you don't talk about it, it could be so much better.
Yes. And like whenever I was looking up like all of the health benefits because I'm a nerd and I wanted to know, obviously. Kristen. It literally says reduces stress level, it helps sleep quality, it lowers blood pressure, and it increases your self-esteem. And I'm going to sit right there for just a second. What?
Where's that at? Oh, I see.
Right here. It 100% as a woman increases my self-esteem. I want to be wanted. I want to feel attractive. I want to feel like he wants me. And I don't know if it's the same for men. I would say probably. I think y'all would rather feel needed sometimes. But I think in that sense, it's wanted.
I think I think similar to what you're saying is it is a pride boost for a man.
Yes, I'm pumping your tires, baby.
Yes, you're pumping my tires.
But yeah, so, and I will say I can be super stressed and it does relieve some of that. Where he can be super stressed and he doesn't even want to do anything. But if he does, it does help with the stress. And that's just because of the closeness I think that you have with the other person sometimes. And then the other one, sleep quality and blood pressure.
Lowers blood pressure. Some of y'all with high blood pressure out there.
So now we're going to talk about how we can improve intimacy. So I went through how to build it. We talked about sexual intimacy some. Now we're going to talk about how to improve it. Jacob said it a second ago. Communication. You have to communicate effectively. We had a podcast on here about communication a few weeks ago. It's so important. If your spouse is talking and you're not understanding them, now we have a wall. And vice versa. Walls create barriers, and that's not intimacy. Intimacy is raw.
Mm-hmm.
There's no barrier there.
Yeah.
And so if you're not communicating effectively, it can cause issues in every aspect of your marriage.
It's the most sacred thing that a man and woman could do together. And it should be treated as such.
I agree. And earlier when I said it's not as emotional for me, it's not that it's never that way. It is sometimes. You know, and I would say it's more so emotional now than it's ever been in our marriage. I think that sometimes whenever you're raising little kids, you're so emotioned out from the screaming and crying you've listened to all day that you're just you don't have emotions anymore.
Yeah.
And so, I think now though, and I'm also more comfortable in who I am than I used to be. Maybe I cut out the emotions some before because I wasn't comfortable. Like, these are all things though that we've talked about, and it's so important. You have to make time. You cannot use the excuse, "Oh, we just don't have time for this." You make time for what you want to make time for.
Yeah. You absolutely do. And it doesn't it doesn't have to be a 90-minute whatever. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes. Like, guys, like, you got time. You got time. Ladies, you got time. Men, you got time. Don't say I don't have time. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah. And if you're
100%.
communicating effectively and you knew what they liked, it shouldn't take that
If you're
long.
communicating effectively, you know exactly how much time you have.
Agreed. See, y'all, I've kept it very reeled in. He thought I was about to get
thought it was about to get off the rails.
I'm keeping it reeled in. My next how to improve intimacy is explore each other. That's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't know what they like, figure it out.
Find out.
Figure it out.
They don't like it, they'll tell you real quick. They should.
Yeah. Terry said there's plenty of time. Yes.
24 hours in a day.
Literally. And then I have focus on the connection.
You skip.
Oh, experiment. I'm sorry.
Guys,
Explore, experiment. Yeah.
straight up, it ain't got to be the same thing every time. It does not have to be.
She said, "How's Bailey right now?" Oh, Bailey don't care at all.
Bailey couldn't care less.
This is a normal conversation at our house.
It doesn't have to be. What's the word I'm looking for?
Bailey said, "I'm chilling."
Vanilla.
Yes.
Vanilla. It doesn't have to be vanilla.
This is where he didn't want me to.
I don't want her to get off the rails here, so I'll try to.
That's why he's doing the talking.
I'll try to keep it. I'll use her example. Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors. If I walk in the door every time and get vanilla, I'm going to get tired of it.
Yeah.
That's why they got a variety.
Yeah.
Don't make it weird.
Right.
But the only way that you're going to know is if you talk about it and then you try it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't understand for the life of me why this is an issue. Like,
Well, what's an issue?
why?
Experimenting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because they're not comfortable with each other.
He said 32. Vanilla's the 32nd. Yes.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't have to be boring. Like, it don't have to be a snooze fest.
You shouldn't roll your eyes when it's go time.
Yeah.
Like,
And vanilla
oh,
is good too, Kyle. But
here we go again.
yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah, no.
oh, again. Like if you want to do something different, tell her. Tell him.
Yeah.
What's he gonna say? No, we can't do that.
Like,
Jesus wouldn't like that. Like, Jesus, it's the first thing he told you to do. It's the first thing God said. Be fruitful
Yeah.
and multiply. He didn't give us any parameters for that,
right.
depending on the toppings.
I agree with that. But you're changing it up.
But you
It's
got it.
just
But
not
you're
straight
making it
vanilla.
different. You're making it different.
Yeah. Like, don't be boring. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, I'm gonna keep it good.
Please do.
I will. I'm not a boring human.
Yes, Cheyenne. Yes.
Yes. Agreed, Cheyenne. Talk about it. Try it.
Try it
Try it
again.
again. Laugh about the combo. Pick another flavor. Yes. Like, when I say I'm not a boring person, like, that would be, I think,
I mean, that would literally be my version of hell.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. Spontaneity. It's a flavor.
Yes.
100%.
Like, I just couldn't imagine. You know? I couldn't imagine. And
She's trying so hard.
I'm trying so hard, guys.
So hard.
I'm trying so hard.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Thanks, babe.
Mm.
So yeah, there's all different flavors, and we can try different ones. Yeah, experiment. Don't do the same things.
Yeah.
Connection. Focus on your connection with each other. If you're communicating with each other, there will be a connection there. If you're having sex with each other, there will be a connection there, because those two things make a connection. I can tell whenever it's about to be too many days have went by. Inside of my body, I can tell. I'm irritable and all of the things. He knows. He knows me so well. He's like, oh boy.
I know what you need.
Yeah. And yeah. Practice affection. So we have talked about the fact that he likes to kiss and I like to hug. Yes, Jacob. And so what I was going to say is what one person likes, it might not be the other person's favorite, but sometimes we have to compromise on those things.
Yeah, don't be a what's the word I'm looking for? Don't be a selfish lover.
Yeah.
It ain't all about you.
Yeah.
There's two involved.
So, there might be, I don't even know how to say this. Okay.
No.
No, we had to pull the mics away because Bailey asked if I said
she had
something
to
to
get
her.
permission to say what she wanted to say.
Yeah. I think you should say it because I'm going to slip
There
up.
may be a certain way that you like to have sex that your spouse does not.
Yes.
But
But
sometimes you just do it
you just do it.
because you know they enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. Just my way of saying it wasn't as nice. Um what?
No.
I mean, I can't help it. So all of my points.
Okay.
So anyways, communicate is so important. Tell them if you like it or not. Try new things. It doesn't have to be weird. Make sure you tell your kids before someone else does. And it's okay that your kids know that you have sex. They should know if they're older. Because I have two, one grown child and one almost grown child. And they will come bust in my bedroom any moment they want to. Okay? They do not care. The other day, I'm in the bathroom washing my face. Gavin busts through the bedroom door. His dad's laying on the bed. Slade says, "Hey, something, I don't know." And Gavin wanted to talk to me, so he just walked right on in the bathroom. He had no idea what I was in there doing whatsoever. He don't care. He needed to talk to his mama, so he just came on in. Luckily, I was just washing my face.
But if that door's locked,
But if the door's locked,
you turn around and go the other way.
and they will, they'll try to open it, and once they realize it's locked, they just turn around. For the most part, we'll just tell them go to the other end of the house, and
Yeah, I need to get away for a minute.
yeah. But sometimes they'll be in the living room, right outside the bedroom, cackling.
Cackling, watching TV, dogs barking. And like, yeah, if you have little kids, I get it.
Yeah.
Like I get it.
We were there one time.
I was in that place, and that's when the time thing really comes more into play. Like, you have a finite amount of time to make things happen. So make them happen.
Yeah. Like Gavin slept in the room with us,
Yes, he did.
but we had a futon in his room.
Yep.
You can make things happen. They go to sleep. And sometimes that means you have to stay up later. Oh well. That's okay. You can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just be open with your spouse about what you want and all of the things, and that will make the intimacy better.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell them what you do like, what you don't like, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. There's so many different ways that you can make it better, but it all starts in not being weird and talking about it. Because if you won't even talk about it, you can't ever expect it to be any better or any different at all. It's going to be what it is.
Yeah.
The same thing over and over, to a point that someone's going to get frustrated, someone's going to get mad, someone's going to feel bad about themselves. And if your spouse is telling you, you need to be listening.
Active listening.
Actively listening and hearing what they are telling you, hear what they want, and do it.
Yeah, I agree. That's all I have. Now he's on.
No, I'm
take
done.
over. Oh, you're done.
I'm done.
Okay.
I don't have anything. I just had some Bible verses.
Okay.
I can read them.
Yeah. Okay.
The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. Do not, this is good. We should talk about this. Do not deprive each other, except perhaps by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. Then come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. My body is not my own in that sense. In the bedroom, her body is not her own. My body is not my own. We are one flesh. We belong to each other, and we cannot. The Bible says it. Men, ladies, do not deprive each other.
Unless you're going after
Unless
the
you're
Lord.
fasting.
Yeah.
Unless you're fasting and praying, you don't. It's not a reward.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's not a prize that you get at the end of the day
Yes.
for being good. No, it's what a husband and a wife do. You don't get to hold out from me because
You're angry.
Because you're angry. Because you're mad at me. You don't get to do that. Do not hold out on each other. Do not deprive each other. Because when you do, as it says, Satan will tempt you. And in whatever way he sees fit, that be another man, another woman, something you see on your phone, on TV, whatever it is, Satan will tempt you in the area that you are weak at that time. He knows when you're weak, he knows where you're weak, and that's where he's coming after you.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, that we kind of touched on that earlier. And because it's not all about you. Like, I mean, I'm very open and honest. It might have been last night. Yes. He was sitting in the bedroom and
Not before last.
not before last. I sent you a message yesterday. Okay. He was sitting in the bedroom and he did not he didn't say that he wanted to do anything or whatever, but I guess I just felt like he did. Even though he didn't say that, he didn't verbalize that. And so the next morning, I literally sent him a text and said, I said, I'm so sorry that when you were in the bedroom last night, we didn't do anything. I was like, I was tired, but there was no excuse for that. I was like, and I'm sorry. And that's not what I should have done.
You know what I said? You should be sorry.
That is not what
Not
he
what I
said. He said it's okay. And it was probably 30 minutes later, I sent another message and I was like, I'm really sorry. And he was like, it's okay, I promise. But he had not even told me. I just felt like, I'm just gonna be real honest. He don't just come in there and hang out. He has one purpose when he walks in that bedroom and lays down on that bed. Because we don't sleep in the same bed. So if he's in there.
So she already knew.
So I knew.
She already knew. I didn't have to say anything.
So anyway. So yeah, like I felt bad though. I was like, ooh, I should have taken the hint. And he wasn't upset about that.
I'll give you a pass,
I did
though, because we were
apologize.
talking about the
podcast.
We were talking about that. I'll give her a pass this time.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
But usually I go in the living room and we sit around and talk, and then I go to bed. So we will talk in the bedroom sometimes, but it's usually about the podcast if something we don't want the kids to hear. Or not even necessarily the kids to hear. We don't need them talking 100 miles an hour to us.
Yeah.
Because that's what they'll do.
I got 2 more scriptures.
Okay.
God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Like we said earlier, it's the first thing God tells man to do.
Yeah.
The very first thing that he gives for us to do is to be fruitful and increase in number. And then the last one I have is Proverbs 5, verse 18 and 19. May your fountain be blessed and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth. A loving doe, a graceful deer, may her breast satisfy you always. May you ever be intoxicated with her love. Don't get bored with your spouse.
Yeah. I agree.
She's the same woman you married.
Yeah. And obviously, things change. You get older, and, as bad as I'm trying to fight the aging over here,
I'm embracing it.
It does happen. I'm not embracing it. I'll embrace some of it, but if I can help it, I'm helping it. I just can't do it. I wouldn't be attracted to myself.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna get old.
Yeah,
ain't gonna get around that.
Yeah, I might get old. I don't know how old I'll look. I might look frozen.
As long as you ain't walking around looking like a cat, we'll be all right.
Man, those people are wild.
Yeah.
They'll like.
All right, guys. Put into practice what we said. Talk to each other. When you get off of here tonight, don't act like you didn't just hear all this stuff.
Right. This would be a great
opportunity to tell the kids to get away and have the conversation. Right? Because when you wait till tomorrow, it's going to be awkward and you're not going to want to do it because we make it weird. Mm-hmm. Just go ahead and do it.
And the enemy's going to be like, oh, don't do that right now.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Just wait till tomorrow.
Just wait till tomorrow. Just go ahead and do it. Have the conversation. And you might even get to talk about taxes tonight.
You might.
Love y'all.
Love y'all. Bye.